When most people say ghetto, they mean unrefined, low class, cheap, or inferior, especially when it comes to black people.
At least until it's co-opted by everybody else and suddenly becomes pop culture.
But we're reclaiming ghetto and rejecting white supremacist norms regarding how we're supposed to look, think, or be.
And we aren't waiting for black ingenuity to be colonized to celebrate it. Absolute means to the largest degree possible, having unlimited power and influence, or simply unrestrained.
I'm Malcolm.
I'm Sade. And this is my little sister Lola. She's about to bring it home for y'all. What this is, Lola?
This is the absolute ghetto. Welcome to the absolute ghetto.
Okay.
I'm dead. All right, it's recording on the Zoom now too. So we're good to go. So we could go ahead and jump in.
All right. Hey, Daryl.
Hey, Sade.
What's
up, Malcolm?
What's up, friends? How's everyone doing?
I'm good today. How have y'all been today? How's everyone's day?
It's my last day at work, so I'm happy. I'm in a good mood.
Today we have our first guest ever. Oh my God, so exciting. It is Daryl. This is my friend. Daryl, guys. Yes, the one and only. It's always Daryl. We're going to put his social media in the description, so make sure you check him out and go follow him. He's a big star on TikTok.
On TikTok, right. I seen the TikToks. I was like, wait a minute, I said this guy's really famous because I seen the TikToks. I was like, all right,
famous.
Wait,
Don't gas me.
Don't you want to let Daryl talk about himself a little bit?
Yeah, tell us about yourself.
If you want to promo anything, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm really just a carefree guy who, I'm working towards the greater good. I just want to.
You annoying.
What?
What's wrong with that? You good.
I just don't know what that means. I feel like Daryl is like a different kind of guy. Like, I don't know. It's like you're, I mean, not like you don't, it's like, I mean, I honestly, like, you act like a guy, but like you don't think like one. Like, you think deeper than like an average guy. I don't know.
Yeah, most definitely I do. But like, I feel like a lot of people would see it as like performative though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because like there are a lot of guys who like if they do X, Y, Z for a woman, then they're deemed to get this. And I could see why somebody would think that I would do that. I would be doing that for that, but I don't do that just for that. Like, I do it because like I see, women as, people who matter, people who are like, they're just like me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And are we diving in too fast? Like, yo, like, 'cause I know you just introduced me.
We gonna go ahead and do it.
Wait a second. Actually, wait. Let us pause because you didn't even get your wine yet. So, like, go ahead and get your wine.
Right. Yo, I'll be going too fast sometimes.
Show us what you got first of all, Daryl.
Oh, I got this Redwood Creek.
Okay, Redwood Creek, nice.
Some Chardonnay.
Okay. Oh, Chardonnay, right? Because I told you before you went to the store that I got Chardonnay. So I got a Chardonnay called Bread and Butter from Trader Joe's.
Bread and Butter?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that. I almost got that.
You saw this? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Whoa, that's crazy.
But yeah, so it has vanilla.
So I have this bottle because I'm not buying Trader Joe's anymore. But I got this sangria. I got a couple of these, so we're gonna hope it does the job. And see what happens because that's what was in the fridge. So we're gonna see what happens.
Yo, cheers to everybody, bro.
Cheers. All right, let's take it, please. Mm-hmm. All right, so listeners, if you didn't know, this is a woke wine night. Obviously, we had to do it for the relationships episode. So today we're going to be talking about like relationships and sex and the modern age in 2020 the age of social media, the age of living in a panoramic, because that's what it is. And we're going to talk about just all things relationships and sexuality and intimacy, having to do with like living in this time as a young Black person. And, you know, here at the Absolute Ghetto, we believe that embracing the joys of romance, intimacy, and sexuality as a Black person is one way to practice radical self-love. Black culture, like, is innovative in a lot of ways, but the ways we talk about sex and relationships is actually pretty innovative too, I think. Like, I was thinking about how we have all these words that we use to describe like different types of relationships. Like, we have talking, we have cuffed and cuffing and cuffing season. We got bae. We got bae, and like bae doesn't even mean that that's your boyfriend or that's your girlfriend, but bae could just be like someone you fuck with hard. Oh, like, you know, y'all be kicking it. Like, it can mean like all types of things. We still call them bae. We got entanglements. Shout out Jada.
Oh Lord. We got an entanglement. We have situationships on that tip.
Situationships. We have different words like macking, spitting game. That's Black culture, right?
Yeah.
And then of course, the best of all, we have y'all are cute, but I also love some interracial love. Shout out Tia Mori.
It's Tamara. It's actually Tamara. They be calling her Tamaga, but we're not gonna get into that.
Wait, it's Tamara?
It's Tamara. It's for sure because they be calling her Tamaga. That's how I remembered it.
Tamaga. Right? They call her Tamaga. Oh shit.
Tia with a black man.
I'm so sorry, Tia Mori. You are the good one. You're the normal one.
Stop. You gotta chill.
I'm disappointed in Tamara. Like, it's okay if you want to marry a white man, but like the way that she does it, it's like you don't have to do any of this. Like,
listen, we're gonna get into it. So, as we said before, we have a very special guest. And Sade, why did you like tell us more about?
Oh, right. So we told you guys he's like a viral TikTok megastar, right? So it's funny because one day, well, Daryl and I met like actually online, first of all. So that kind of speaks to the whole like age of social media, meeting people online type of thing. So we met like on, like, I think I saw him on Twitter. I think I ended up DMing him on Instagram, and then we ended up following each other, and we just like slowly became friends, like close over time. And it's funny because now we like talk about like relationships we have with different people and bullshit we be dealing with, and like he's giving me advice on some situations I was going through, and we can get into that a little deeper like a bit later. But basically, he had made this TikTok because like he been making funny videos and stuff, and he made this TikTok and he sent it to me before he even actually posted it, and he was like, yo, I just filmed this video, like I'm gonna put it on TikTok, but don't be offended because like, you know, you're one of the girls that like you're self-aware, like you're able to like realize like when you're
not this long ass qualification.
He's like you're able to realize when you're fucking up and when like you're doing the wrong thing and you're giving a guy way too much credit and all this shit. Like this is for the he's like this is really for the girls that like are still stupid.
Listen,
like that's a nice way of saying. So this is about you, but like, don't get offended.
Don't get your feelings hurt, okay? That's the truth.
And then he uploaded it, and it went freaking viral. Like right now, it's sitting on over 8 million views, and now you have like thousands and thousands of TikTok followers just off that video.
Oh yeah, that shit crazy.
Mad cool. Yeah. It's cool.
All right. Now, if you look over here, you see a dumb bitch who's also a hot girl, but she's in her feelings about a guy who does not give a fuck about her, nor does he have her best interests at heart. Stay still for me, sweetie, real quick. Sweet, I'll send it to you. All right, everybody, take your picture, and we'll go to the next exhibit.
If you go on TikTok, you'll see when you go to the sound, you will see like all these different pages of like all these different girls, like who are going through the exact same thing. But the thing for me is they're doing it as like it's funny and stuff. Like I can see why it's funny, but it's also pretty sad to me.
It's sad.
So I think we want to start. Well, just so you guys know, this is going to be like a relationship and sexuality roundtable. So we're going to be going around asking questions, and we're all going to answer them, you know, however we see fit personally, or what we think about the way people may be feeling in general right now. But first, we're going to start by setting the stage by each answering a question that's kind of like individualized to our personal dating experiences and might give some context as to like where we're coming from, like when we answer the group questions,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, Daryl, first question for you. So as a man who I think, based on knowing you so far, feels strongly, he already rubbing his hands like Birdman, feels strongly about treating women with respect when it comes to interpersonal relationships. What do you think sets you apart from men who are not interested in settling down, but still want to form relationships, like have sex, explore the dating scene, be friends with women, be close to women? Like, how do you help your dating companions or your interests like feel respected and cared for, whatever it may be that, you know?
I hope them feel like cared for and respected by like, doing the right things and not really expecting anything from them. That's really like the apex of everything. Because I want women to know that, because what I see is that a lot of guys, they they want to be, quote unquote, nice to women, and they want to get like a big payout. And that's like the least of my worries. Like, I really just want like the women who are in my life to,
Mm-hmm.
know that I'm not looking at them, sexually all the time. Or I might not even be looking at them sexually at all. But even if I am, like, I'm not expecting sex. And I feel like that's what a lot of guys expect. And everything that I remember one day you had asked me, like,
Mm-hmm.
the way that I feel about, like, relationships and women, is it off like the fact that I've been through trauma and it's some hurt that I can't let go, or is it based off of like observance? And it's off observance. Like, I do not want to be like the average guy that, women always say, men are trash. And whenever I hear women say men are trash, I don't try to insert myself in their space to try to like, deter them from thinking like that. Cause it's I don't have like any say in like how women feel about women. I can only like speak for myself, and how I feel
Mm-hmm.
does not, I like, basically, like, I'm not trying to like change a woman perspective on how men are. That's not my my MO. I can
Right.
only be myself. I'm really hardcore into, keeping your individuality.
Right.
Because I feel like a lot of people like lose themselves, like when they're, trying to chase behind somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just like to like keep my individuality. I don't want to like,
Yeah.
I don't want to feel drained. You get what I'm saying? So
So how do you like,
I feel like
how do
that's
you keep your individuality without like breaking hearts and hurting feelings? Even though I know there's probably not 100% success rate, like, what do you try to do?
Yeah, you really can't. It's inevitable. You can't not break somebody's heart who wants to be with you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in the same breath, you do that. You don't get with them for their own good.
Mm-hmm.
And they might not see it at that time, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's all about rapport. Especially like if you talk to them enough and you're open enough, you'll be able to like have a common ground. Like, even if you don't understand like where they're coming from, you have to respect it either way.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I feel that.
No, I feel you. So you just gotta like keep an open communication, like establish a relationship like where you guys are comfortable communicating like that. So it's like you can communicate your wants and needs without there being too many surprises down the line.
And also boundaries too, right?
Boundaries. Yep. Exactly. Boundaries.
You were big on boundaries, but we're gonna get into that later.
Okay.
It's the Aquarius. It's the Aquarius.
Oh Lord.
I'm gonna spring it on you. If you don't answer, it's one question coming up. Like, if you don't answer it honestly, I'm gonna spring it on you. So just get ready. Wait, you're saying
actually?
He said who?
Who?
A cross examination.
You talking about me?
Yeah. Surprise! This is a cross examination.
Oh man!
I'll be on their toes.
And you're a psychology major too. Oh shit!
Yeah, it's really over. Psychology master.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, master. Okay, my bad.
With the honors and all that.
Okay, my bad.
I'm not. I'm just
She got
saying.
2 degrees. All right.
Good. Anyway. Okay.
Okay.
So
I know that's right.
Malcolm's. I know that's right. Well, okay, Malcolm's individual question. So,
Mhm.
are there any difficulties with dating a bisexual man? Well, shit, we didn't even introduce him. Malcolm has a boyfriend. Woohoo! Let's drink to that.
All right.
Hey, how long has it been? How long has it been?
Years.
It's been like 9 months.
Oh my god! I can't believe it's been so long. So, are there any difficulties with dating a bisexual man because your boyfriend is bisexual? And if so, like, what are they and why? Like, how do you navigate being in a queer relationship? Oh, so that's the first question. The second question is, how do you navigate being in a queer relationship as a black man who dates black men and comes from a black family? So, yeah, just answer that all really neatly in like 2 sentences. 2 sentences only.
In 2 sentences. Oh my goodness. I got you. Listen. So for the first question, I don't think there's difficulties personally. It's not really something I feel insecure about. I feel like talking to a lot of my friends and associates, whether they're like queer or not, there's like this discomfort sometimes with bisexual people. Like it's like, oh, like there's a greater chance of them cheating on you, and that it's somehow more offensive if they cheat on you with like a different, you know what I mean? Like if you're a woman and they cheat on you with a man, then that's more problematic. If you're a man, they cheat on you with a woman, that's more. And it's like to me, that's not really something like I'm not like super worried about cheating. As in like if someone is cheating on me, cheating is cheating. Like it has nothing to do with you being bi. It's just that you cheated on me. But like I don't really have like if we have a relationship of trust, it's not something I think about, and I think that's something that's important. It's not limiting people's identity. He's gonna always be bi. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that like he's always affirmed in that and supported in that. And I think that's something else that happens is that like people try to erase bi people's identity like by whatever, like it's like, oh, you're just gay, or oh, you were just pretending or whatever. And it's like I feel like most of it, the discomfort can come from like an insecurity, or it could come from like people trying to assert their own insecurities on you. Like a lot of it is deriving to me from bi erasure. And so for me, there is no difficulties, but I feel like for bi people in general, bi erasure is a huge thing. And it's not like, I don't really get the point of it. Like people try to like do this numbers game where it's like, oh, how many men have you dated? How many? And it's like, if someone says that they are something, then it's valid. You know what I mean? Like I'm not really trying to, and I'm more worried about like our relationship. Like it's not, all of the rest of it is not, it's not relevant in the terms of like where we're at right now. It's relevant into like who you are as a person, and like I respect that, but like it doesn't really affect the relationship. It doesn't really affect me.
I feel like there's like this idea like with bisexual people, or like bisexual, like having a serious relationship with a bisexual person. Well, there's this general idea when it comes to like, I guess, monogamous relationships, when your relationship is monogamous, that like that if you're monogamous, then like your sexuality like kind of like becomes your partner. Like you're like that's your, like you're not like whatever, you're not like, even like for a say like, you know, the most traditional of all, heterosexual person, it's like you're not even like heterosexual anymore. Like you're just like you're whatever. Like say if I'm dating a boy named Johnny, like I'm Johnny sexual, you know, like I think that's like people feel like, oh, that like biness or whatever is like sort of like on their mind 24/7, like while they're dating like whatever gender they're dating or whatever. And it's like they have to fulfill their desire for like the other
like it's
gender,
that's,
you know,
like it's not, it doesn't, people are different, first of all, and it's like you just got to meet people where they're at, kind of like what Daryl said. And so it's like I don't feel like you need to be fixated on it. It's more of like expressing like what you are interested in and seeing what they're interested in and seeing if there is like a common ground that y'all can find. The second question, I feel like there's complications for sure, because like I feel like family is important for everybody, but I feel like especially when you're a part of a marginalized community, especially like how marginalized Black people are around the world, I feel like it's your family is important to you. Like you need people that can kind of be like a backbone, that can be someone that you can fall back on when the world is beating you down. And so I think that it's really difficult when there are homophobic players in your family. That like it's not as simple. Like some people be like, oh well, screw the family, and oh blah blah blah. Like that's not. I feel like as a black person, it's not that simple, and I don't think it's you know what I mean. Sometimes it's not an option for a lot of people, and so I think it's definitely like there's a lot of patience that you have to have with other people and meeting them again with meeting people where they're at, and like if people have different insecurities and like seeing who's trying to meet you halfway, trying to be as open as possible, but like I think for sure you have to make proper boundaries. Like if there's like a particular I mean, even for me personally, like there's certain relatives that like I know it's gonna be some bullshit. And it's like I'm not even gonna really go deep with them like that. And so it's like I think it definitely I'm still figuring it out because I'm still relatively early in the game. But like I think there it definitely is interesting. Like there's always this nervousness of like meeting their I feel like meeting like your partner's family in general can be stressful, but like especially where it's like, are they about to be super homophobic? Like what am I you know what I mean? Like it you don't know what's gonna come out when you go there. And like it's nerve wracking is what I'm still figuring it out. But I feel like for sure like trying my hardest to set proper boundaries for both of us and be like, you know, like if you know that certain auntie like your partner's coming to an event and you know that certain auntie gonna be tripping, be like, look, we're not even gonna deal with her because it's gonna be some mess.
No, I was gonna say like also like on the other side where it's like if you know like you know Aunt Jean like she be with the shits and like you go hang out with her at the functions, you know.
Listen, because there's some people that, no, that's good to say. There's certain people that like you know it's like a scale. Like some people are like super cool, like they were like, what's going on? Like you could talk. Like I met my boyfriend, like I met some of his family and like his grandma was cool. Like we was kicking it. But like other people might be like a little bit more like, oh, what the fuck is going on? You know, and I know there's plenty of people in my family, it's like they gonna pull you to the side like the fuck is going on. It's like, you know what I mean? Like being aware of it's a bit stressful, I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to be positive. But it's very stressful. Now it's your turn to get grilled, Sade.
Yeah, my turn.
Right. Your question. Because you don't ask us questions.
Yeah.
So Sade, as someone who is interested in having a serious romantic relationship, how do you maintain your stamina as you go through the dating process? Like what's the hardest part about it? And like when we mean stamina, like people are seeing on the internet like men ain't shit. And it's like how do you like navigate where, especially when you're dealing with some men that ain't shit, like how do you and like something I always like say is this is a numbers game. Like how do you keep making sure that you can keep going?
He told me whenever he says it's a numbers game, I have to drink.
Well, we gotta take it's a numbers game.
You might as well join us, Daryl. It's a numbers game. Let's drink to that.
Hell yeah, let's go.
You know, I feel like you said, it's a numbers game. Like it's funny because Malcolm, like you do help me with this because like I always talk to you about like things that we going through, especially in relationships, and you'll always remind me, like, you know, like you remember, like you'll give me like the comforting advice first, and then you'll be like, you remember, like it's a numbers game, like you and I like that'll like I'll be in a funk, and like it'll get me out of like you're right, like I gotta
go find the earth sign of her. That's what I be. Like logical.
Yeah, logic. I'm like, you're right. I just need to go date another guy. Like for real. Like what am I even doing here, sitting here being sad? I just need to go date another one. Like you know, snap out of it. I'm just gonna sound like deep, but it's knowing that like I'm like worthy of the kind of like relationship that I want, and like whatever it is that is like is not satisfying me in like whatever relationship or situationship or fluctuationship or whatever I'm in, then I'm just like, okay, this isn't satisfying me. Like sometimes it'll take me a minute to like actually get up and like finally go. But like when I get up and finally go, then like I'm gone, you know? So
do you have any advice for people, like especially when you go through especially like trying experience, like is there a way that you kind of recenter yourself? Like is there advice you want to give our audience for, because a lot of people are having to play the numbers games too, so I think you can help them like, out.
I mean, recenter yourself.
Yeah. Oh, right. It's okay. We can move on. You don't have an answer.
I'm kind of a wreck. So it's like, do I even center myself, or do I just like get a new hairstyle and like go and like go do something else?
Get a new hairstyle.
to get a new hairstyle.
Like you like basically like you reinvent yourself
No,
in a
not
way.
reinvent because I feel like I've been the same person. I'm not the same person. Like obviously I learn and I grow. I guess it's like I just make sure I apply what I learned from my last relationship to the new one, and it's like
Yeah.
it's a lot more easy. Like once you go through a trying situation, to be like, oh my god, that felt absolutely awful. I never want to feel like that again. And so you're gonna try harder. Like in the next relationship, like once you see that red flag, you're easier. It's easier to recognize it, easier to know like the tactics that
Mhm.
a lot of manipulative men use, manipulative
Yep.
people use,
Yep.
and I was like, I'll recognize it so fast. And also like it helps, it hurts. I mean, not hurts. Maybe it hurts and helps that, I study psychology. So, it's like, I can always recognize, I'm like, oh my God, like you're a sociopath. I get it. Like,
I'm a whole sociopath.
I'm like, I get it. Like, I get it. I should just bow out now. like, my bad. I didn't even know that you was like that, bro. Like, I would just go ahead and leave.
So what I was gonna follow up with is that's kind of relatable, like to everybody. Like after you go through something with somebody, like all you really doing is just adapting.
Mm-hmm.
When you break it down, all you're doing is adapting to your environment, and so that's what you do. The next person is not gonna be as easy for them to play you.
That's always the advice that you give me too. You're always like, it's like the way you talk about it is like it's like we're really like in the wild, like we're really on a wild African safari.
Stop!
And he's like you see the threat, you recognize the threat, you calculate your exit, and you execute. He said, what, racially charged?
I said this imagery feels very racially charged.
Why? Because it's black men we're talking about? I didn't mean
we're in the jungle, right?
We're in any jungle. We're in the fucking Appalachian mountain. I don't give a fuck. With wild boars.
But I mean,
that's the way you talk about it.
To keep it surface level, I mean, like if you think about it, we really are like this is our ecosystem. These are the things that we have to worry about in our ecosystem. Like aside from like death and like all the other stuff that's going on, we have to worry about like instead of like like an apex predator is out there trying to like chase their food, their gazelle for the next meal. We're trying to chase a person for our next whatever
fix whatever we need.
Like, exactly, it could be sex, love, etc.
Like
it's pretty much the exact same thing these tigers are doing out in the wild. This is our jungle that we're in. These are the things that we worry about. You know what I'm saying?
That's some advice for anyone. Like, you have to recognize the threat. I mean, not even just on some niggas ain't shit, like blah 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 type shit. Like niggas ain't shit. Like some people, niggas, all that be dangerous. Be like be physically. Don't be safe to have in your life. You don't. And it's like it's crazy because one thing that I always say, like to guys will be like, well, you know me, and I'll be like, not really. Like it's like guys will say that, like even like a couple months in, a guy will be like, well, you know me. I'm like, no, I don't. Like ask me that again in a year, and maybe I'll say yes. But no, 2 months, I do not know you at all. Niggas, people hide so much. Like people, like you put your best foot forward, and you do not know what their past is. You don't know what they used to, how they used to treat women. How you don't know how they are in general. Like, oh my god, like people hide a lot. So, and it's one thing like to like hide, little things that you do that may be annoying or that they have to get used to, like when you get like further down the line. But it's a whole other thing to hide like the fact that you actually don't see women as equals. Or like I feel like it's something that you have to be really wary of as a woman, because it's so common dating men, like that things will just come out like the misogyny will just leap out at any moment. You'll be chilling thinking you're in a safe space, and the misogyny will leap out, and like I mean you're like, oh, I'm in danger. Like,
yo.
Like I'm not even thinking here right now.
I had seen a tweet about that earlier today, and you pretty much said it verbatim. It's like imagine being with your crush and all of a sudden his misogyny jumps out or something like that, and it was like basically feeling like going from being in the space with somebody you like and finding out that they're like finding out that they're like a really dangerous person.
Yeah, it's like a little mini traumatic situation. Now we're getting into like questions for everybody. So from now on, it's gonna be everyone can answer. So General, I feel like this was a good question for us because we're fine as fuck. I mean, let's just be honest. Anyways, so when did you know you were attractive? Daryl, I see you popping your collar. You answer first.
He said he wanted to answer.
Bruh, I mean, I knew I was attractive. Bruh, it's crazy. Because I knew I was attractive in high school. Because I remember on MySpace, I don't know, like all I did was like I would take pictures of like my abs and stuff, and like it just spread it to high school. Like everybody in high school knew I had abs. So I remember I had walked into the cafeteria one day because I had left my jacket in there because I had lunch prior. So I went back in there to get my jacket, and it was like 3 girls. They were like, "Yo, we see you on MySpace. You got abs, don't you? My friends want to see your abs." And so I lifted my shirt up in front of like everybody in the cafeteria. Everybody went crazy. So that's when I knew I was shit.
You're like, oh my god, I'm fine as hell.
Yeah, but in that same breath, like I knew that I looked good, but I always keep myself humble. I don't want to be big headed. Like I always keep myself from being big headed. I feel like
the way you said it, like you wanted to convince yourself, like don't get
get carried away.
Don't get carried away.
For real, exactly,
no,
exactly.
Fine,
like I try. Listen.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, I keep myself marginalized on purpose because I do not want to be one of those guys. Listen.
Explain. No, make it make sense. Let me come with you.
Listen, I keep myself Listen. I only keep myself like I don't know how to explain it. I only keep myself like I do not want to be one of those guys who know he look good and therefore he's an asshole to everybody else. That's what I'm saying.
It's so amusing to you.
Oh my gosh.
Are they over there dying? Oh
no, it's funny. It's like funny. Like no, it's funny because like I can literally see you doing the mental work not to like become conceited, and like I guess that's commendable. But it's just funny watching it happen in real time because I can tell you're still struggling with it. It's like a devil on one shoulder. It's like it's a devil on one shoulder being like be future, and the other one's like be
Russell Wilson.
Be Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Be Russell Wilson.
Like I'm constantly fighting. Like I'm just like, bruh, don't be like this. Be like this. But then I
told Malcolm how you was crying about Future.
Listen, the music be hitting. I'm not gonna lie about that.
On God. On God. On game.
Daryl said he was crying about Future because he couldn't give the music up, but he's too misogynistic.
Bruh, he's very toxic masculinity.
Listen, the head of the society. Listen, shout out to
the lyrics are better. I mean, it's different. I mean, it's crazy. Like honestly, I'd be thinking about like rap lyrics, and it's like I said to Malcolm before. It's like it really is the lyrics, at least in like the trap genre. A lot of times is meant to glorify the ego, to support like like all the things that you can't get away with really in real life, and to like live this fantasy that you can get away with whatever the fuck you want. And for guys, a lot of times, like, basically mistreating women or like, treating women like nothing, like is part of that fantasy. So it's like, so it comes up a lot from the music, whether or not the guy's actually doing that stuff, because sometimes they're just faking. Sometimes it's real. So Malcolm, when did you know you were attractive?
I'm gonna give an annoying answer to the question. I just feel like attractiveness, and I haven't really seen this proven wrongly, it's very malleable. It's very easy to manipulate. Like if you show yourself, like Daryl talked about showing off his abs. Like I just know if I present myself in a certain way, I can cultivate a certain audience. And like I'm aware of that. And I use it to my advantage when it's like if I think it's necessary. But like as far
what do
as
you
like
mean by that?
so I mean like I know if I post myself in a certain outfit, or if I take off my shirt and I show my abs, or I do something like that, like I know if I do certain things, it's going to get certain responses from people. And like people are going to like, feel one way or another. And it's like I could change it. Like I could dress real like tacky or something, or what people consider to be tacky. And I'm like, oh, he has no style. You know what I mean? Like I just noticed like I could do something very slightly different, and I've seen people respond very differently to it. And so like yeah, it's so like with attractiveness, I feel like I don't know how I feel about it. I guess I'm attractive, but like I don't know, like I just feel like it's all a illusion, kind of. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like it's very easy to manipulate to what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Like
It's
I
also
feel
like it's also very like in the eye of the beholder. So it's like
exactly. Like I know, like if I'm trying to attract a certain type of person, I know how to set myself up, like how to make myself up so that that's going to be closer to that group's, like, you know what I mean? It's like it feels like marketing to me in a way.
yeah.
I totally feel you, Malcolm. Cause so like you're able to like promote yourself in a way that can attract a lot of people. But like when you see that they're attracted, you be like, oh well, that's exactly what I wanted. Right? And then you're just like, it's really nothing to you. You don't really look at it as like a big deal. You're just able to like, attract people because you know that's what they want to see.
Like they say, Instagram is just a highlight reel. So it's like, but all the pictures of me on Instagram or whatever, that's not what I look like every second of the day. You know what I mean? Like those are. I mean, and a lot of my pictures on Instagram, I'm not wearing any makeup either. But it's like, even though it's like a norm, but it's like, it's still. There's still like angles and lighting and outfits, and I mean, I guess it's like who I am, but it's like I have to like set that up, I have to get it, I have to get it, and then I have to get that right pose. And now, I look for myself because I am, but like it's
listen, no, I think the last thing that I would say on it is I feel like getting older, and especially as you start to date, I feel like it's just realizing that process of making yourself up to give the image that you like. I feel like that's when everyone realizes that they're attractive. I hope most people get. Well, I don't want to make it like it's aspirational, but like that's what it was. Like I was like, oh, I could just set it up this way, and then you know what I mean. And I feel like most people could do that. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I feel you. Yeah,
so,
I was like,
it's your turn.
Oh yeah. So when did I know I was attractive? So like I feel like there's never a point growing up that I felt ugly, really. Like it's like I didn't look in the mirror and be like, and like think I looked ugly. I mean, did I think I look weird in certain pictures, like as a teenager when I'm like going through puberty, my face is changing and like all this stuff, like I'd be like, you look fucking weird in this picture, or like you look ugly in this picture or whatever. But it's like really like looking in the mirror, like I never thought I was ugly. Like I think it was like, I mean, so I already had a foundation of like thinking I was cute, but I think when I knew like for sure, like, oh yeah, you're cute, it was like because I went to white schools, so like it was kind of a taboo dating black girls or like showing that you liked black girls. So it's like the attention I got from guys at school was like pretty minimal. Once I got my first boyfriend, like in my first real boyfriend, my senior year of high school. Then and that was like after I had gone to visit my friend at an HBCU. So like I got away from all the white people and I was like around a bunch of black people, and I was immediately getting attention. And then like I got my first boyfriend there, and then I ended up going to Howard, another HBCU. It was like being around a lot of black people that made it more and more clear like that I was like attractive, like that I was considered beautiful. I was considered beautiful, and like guys thought I was attractive.
They let you know. I know they let you know at Howard.
They let me know. Like when I got there, it was so funny because like it was like in the friend group that I had formed pretty quickly. It's like there was multiple guys in that friend group that were trying to get at me, and like first I started entertaining one of them. Then I ended up like kind of like getting more serious about another one, and then like they would have these guy meetings, and then like the guy I was who ended up being my boyfriend for 2 years, he came and told me, "You don't roll your eyes, come on." But the guy,
You know I don't like. Oh, never mind. Let me not put that on air. All right. Anyways, continue.
The guy who ended up being my boyfriend for 2 years, he came to me and he told me, he was like, "Yo, so and so asked me like if we could share, if I could share you with him," and like that would happen like that would happen like a lot of times. Like,
wow, right there, it's wild. It's wild. It's wild.
It's weird. Like the guy would be like, "Yo, that's kind of misogyny, isn't it?" But you know what? Let me just stop.
But yeah, it is.
But I was like, so am I just a pimp to be pimped out? And there's another, not a pimp, but a slut or whatever. But then there's another situation, like more recently, like was it this year? Yeah, it was this year. Like early in the year, I was dating this guy, and he took me to a barbecue for like some holiday. Was it 4th of July? I don't know. So he took me to a family barbecue, and his uncle. Like he told me later when we got in the car, he told his uncle had like pulled him to the side and was like basically asked him how much for me.
I mean, how do you is that supposed to be flattering? Like what?
I was like, you said what? He's like, does he think I'm a prostitute? And he was like, well, I guess he knows everything got a price. I was like,
there's so much to unpack. I don't know if you want to unpack it.
That is a lot.
Like he brought me to the cookout kind of like as his girl, you know, like even though we weren't like official, but he like, I mean, honestly, this guy was obsessed with me, so like he wanted people to think that we were together, even though like I would be like, no, we're not in private, you know. But like, so he would present it like as like I was his girlfriend. So I guess it was like he had like this kind of like hold over me, like in their eyes, and it's like because I'm his girl, like he can kind of deal me out how he wants to. You know, like, because I guess people be on that shit. I don't know. Talking about how much for her. How much was he willing to pay? That's what I want to know. Let me stop.
Chill. Cut the cameras, dead ass. Oh my God. What, do we want to unpack this? We want to go to the next question. Y'all let me know.
There's a lot to unpack.
There's so much.
But like, there is because like, we know we like to bring in scholarship, you know. So
okay, bring in some scholarship.
I did pull an article called "Beauty and Body Image Concerns Among African American College Women." African American women were talking about how they like perceive their attractiveness. A lot of it was like based on what Black men or the men, you know, these are like heterosexual women, what they found attractive and what was considered attractive, you know, and it was like different. It's like different standards for Black men versus Black women. Like for example, it's optimal to be thick, toned, and curvy. Like, and being thin is like for white women. So like, even though there's like this societal expectation that like you be thin or skinnier, like just in general fat phobia, like all that stuff, like there's still like in the African American community, there's like a specific standard for women that is not necessarily like being skinny. There's like a body type that's like a little more curvier that's more optimal. Yeah. And so it's like, I feel like it really depends, like, you know, knowing you're attractive a lot of times may depend on like who thinks or like who you want and what they find as attractive. And if you're not that, then I feel like that would affect how attractive you find yourself, depending on like your self-esteem. Like, is other factors that could go into it, you know? But it's like for example, like Daryl, like say like, what if women hated abs and like hated dark skin? And there's another thing. There's another article I pulled called "Skin Color and the Perception of Attractiveness Among African Americans, and Does Gender Make a Difference?" And like it showed that in African Americans, Black men actually like are less affected by colorism than Black women. Like in terms of like attractiveness, like lighter skin is considered more attractive for women, but not necessarily for men on the same way.
Exactly.
So like I just wonder, like say if women did like lighter skin on men, say they didn't like abs, like I don't know, like just all these things that you have that you're like, okay, this makes me attractive, and that you didn't have them anymore, like would you still find yourself attractive, you know, like, or for you too, Malcolm, or like whatever, like because I feel like part of it for me is like I feel like I meet a lot of the standards that a lot of Black men have for Black women, honestly, like not even trying to be cocky. Like,
no, listen, I just feel like I do.
Look at the material. You should be going home. You can be a good judge of it.
No, you do. Own it, bro.
So it's like
yeah, bro.
I'm like
Go real
I look in the
quick.
mirror. I'm like, this is what they want.
I think it's interesting because like when I was at Howard, some people would comment on like how thin I was. And like they would be like talk about I need to bulk up, oh I'm too skinny or something like that. Like it wasn't I feel like kind of to your point, like I feel like for heterosexual women, there was a certain expectation and I did not meet all of them. And it's like for some, you know what I mean? But then it's like in like for queer men, I feel like I meet all of them. and so it's like I'm like, so am I not? You know what I mean? And then also there's people that are just into like they have different tastes. Like I don't know. I just feel like what's complicated. What I was trying to say earlier is like it's like I feel like it's not hard to find a group of people who are going to be attracted. You know what I mean? And so it's like for the people who weren't, I was just like, oh, they're not for me. But like,
yeah.
I was like, I know that I feel like I was always aware since I was probably like 16 or so. I was like, I was always aware there was like a group of people who were going to be attracted to me. It may not be everyone, but it's like a large group of people that are going to be attracted to me. So it's like, that's why I'm like, does that make me attractive? Is there the fact that there's a group of people who don't think I'm attractive? Does that make like
true?
Like
it's like
you know what I mean?
It's like how much of it is really based on like you looking in the mirror and just loving yourself, and how much of it is like looking in the mirror and loving what you know that you can provide to other people who want you. You know, I don't know,
bro. I promise you, if you love yourself the most and don't worry about what people are thinking, you gonna get so much love. I promise you. Like, what did you say? If it wasn't attractive,
like if it was,
I still feel like
if it wasn't attractive to Black women or like the women that you were interested in,
would I still feel attractive?
Yeah. What if like the body? What if like the ideal was totally the opposite of what you were?
I mean, to be honest, like I see everything I see on Twitter. Like I be seeing women all the time saying how much they don't like abs. I be seeing them say that, or they rather have a guy with that. But you know what? I see it all the time, but like honestly, I really feel like it's. Yeah, I really feel like it's connected to how they feel like guys who are built like that view themselves. Because that's what I was saying, like just like 30 minutes ago. Like I feel like a lot of guys who know they look good, they have a certain persona with themselves, which is what women don't like. You know what I'm saying? But like if they meet, I feel like if women meet a guy who like, you know, has a body, but he's humble, he's not like acting like he's, you know, an asshole, then they are like more acceptable to like him more. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get you.
I really just feel like it all just comes down like how that person acts and how they put themselves out there. I really feel like that's what it all comes down to. I don't want like the way that I look or like the things that I have to like see what I have to offer. You know, like I'm not just my abs. I'm not just my body. I'm not
just my abs.
I can't.
Yeah, I'm my energy. I'm my energy. Like
it's giving very much privileged kid complains about being bullied for being rich. I'm not just my wealth. I have a personality.
I mean,
you've been to be honest. The rich kids are stressed out, and the light skinned women are stressed out. They tease me because I was prettier than them.
Sometimes I just like want to talk. I really just want to talk and just chill. Like I don't want to be sexual right now. Like
why would you do that while he was saying something serious?
So if you look at yourself as a store, like if you're giving your energy to a person, that's your currency. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all you like. You have your currency and you have your goods and your services. Your goods is like what you can do for them. You know, your services and your services too. But if somebody starts like taking more than than you're willing to give them, you can always kick them out your store. Like if you look at like I don't know if you've seen like
if they start twerking on the tables, get them the fuck out of there.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
And you guys are twerking on glass here. If you want to do it, get the fuck out my restaurant because I did it wrong.
Get them the fuck out, bro. Like they do not have to stay in that store, bro. You can evict them.
Cut the cameras dead.
People be feeling like
Damn, we're already an hour into the recording. Let's get to the next question. All right. Oh, before we go to the next question, let's take a swig.
Okay, yeah. Why not? It's a numbers game, y'all. Don't forget it.
It's a numbers game.
Bro, I'm like almost halfway through.
Bro, and you're kind of a lightweight.
Oh yes. Oh damn. It's gonna get fun. All right. I'm ready.
Let's get it. All right. So, what's your biggest dating flaw? Malcolm, you go.
I'll be liking people. Like I'm very, like if anything about the encounter feels wrong, I really try to trust my intuition. But sometimes I feel like I mix up intuition and fear. But like no, I get I feel something uncomfortable, and I'll be and also I feel like I can ghost. Again, when we're not in a relationship, but like if like you take too long to reply to me, or you say something that I don't know how to reply to, because it's so whack, then I won't.
My biggest dating flaw is like kind of the opposite. Well, not the opposite. Well, not the opposite of ghosting, but it's like not responding to red flags the way that I should. I'm not gonna say not recognizing red flags, because I recognize them, and it's like, and like I said, like I always like analyze people. Like I have like a psychology brain. I'm always thinking like trying to like put together these personality traits that they have to like figure out like a personality type that I feel like they kind of fit. Like I'm not like, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it's like I kind of just do it naturally, you know. But I'll recognize certain qualities, and like it's like my alarm will be equal to my intrigue because of the psychology brain. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm alarmed that you just said that, but like I'm intrigued that you just said that. I need to know more about why you think that way, and why you act like that, or why you would do that. And so I'm gonna stick around so I can figure it out. You know, like and like even if it's like, oh yeah, this is going down, like this nigga, you know, like he's not the one. It's like I still need to stick around so I can figure it out. It's like you don't always need to like figure somebody out, Sade. Like sometimes you can just realize that they're not the best for you, and
you don't need to see the train wreck completely. Like I don't
need to watch the whole train wreck happen. Yeah, turn away. Yeah, like that.
Daryl.
All right, Daryl, what's your biggest dating flaw?
Wow. My biggest dating flaw is that I'm a nice person. I'm really a nice person.
Say a lot more.
A lot of times. Yeah, I'm about to elaborate. Don't worry. But man, to be honest,
that's a cut-out response. How is your biggest dating flaw gonna be? Oh, I'm a nice person. That's like saying like the toxic thing about me is that I love too hard.
Think about it. Majority of people are not used to like a person being genuine and not expecting anything from them. So like when they come across a person who's like really really just wants to hang out, or just really just, you know, don't mind like, you know, being naked and not having sex, then you don't really know how to expand it.
Is that a flaw or is it a strength?
It's a strength, but no. Don't get me wrong. It's a strength, but
it messes up connections. Is that how you're viewing it?
Yeah, but the way that society is, it messes up how pure that is. You know, how pure somebody is. It's like, because I know, like I said before, like I know I'm attractive, and like I said before, I do like a lot of like mental work to keep myself humble. So whenever I like hang around, like whenever I hang around,
I gotta wake up every day people, like, nigga, you know you fine. Just tone it down. Tone it down. Don't go full future today. I'm sorry.
But I don't know. Like I said, I marginalize myself so much because like I don't want to. But like I be having my friends be telling me, "Yo," my friend said verbatim, "Use these women for everything that they got, because that's what they're gonna do to you." I'm just like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, bro.
No, wait. You have said that to me. You've said that to me.
Wait.
You be like these niggas. Wait, hold on. Because now this is where I had to bring it back. Remember I told you I was gonna get you on one of the questions, but I was gonna tell you which one it was. It was like it was a dating flaw question because I was like, I know that nigga better say that he's petty or else he's lying. That's your biggest dating flaw. You are petty. And you have said to me that like, oh yeah, these niggas gonna do that shit to you, so you better do it before they can do it to you. Like, go ahead and do that shit because that nigga gonna do it to you. Like, for real.
You right.
I need some more to drink.
I am petty.
I need some more to
So
drink.
he said he's right. You see, I'm right. Right.
I am petty. Cause see, listen, you got me, bro. You got me.
Let's get into it.
You got it.
But I feel like it's kind of both of them though. Cause I'm petty, but I'm also nice. You know, cause I'm gonna be nice because I seen that, you know, you feel this way about me and you're doing XYZ. So I'm gonna automatically reciprocate the energy just off gate because you did this. So I'm gonna do it back to you because I want you to feel how I felt. You know? But like if I see somebody is playing games with me and you know, I'm gonna play them same games too because I want them to know that like in any situation, I reciprocate energy. I always reciprocate it.
You see? Oh my god, the way he got so intense too. Any situation. That shit right back in your ass.
He said, I like to speed up the karma. I'm not waiting for it. We're doing it right now. It's coming back right now.
Oh my god. No, for real. Like some of the things that you've told me that you've done, Daryl, I've been like, why would you do that? Like one time, this nigga told me that this. You know what? We can cut it out if you need me to. But this nigga told me that he went to. There's a long situation with this girl. They was both being petty at each other, right? Petty shit the whole time. Then finally, some shit blows up. She's like, you know what? Just take me home. He's like, fine. He had paid for their dinner earlier that night. He took her to the gas station on the way home, and it was a far drive, so I guess it would be, but it wasn't a full tank. He said he made her fill up the tank, or she offered to fill up the tank, and he said yes. Okay, yeah, you can fill up the tank. Or no, she offered gas money, and then like you asked her to fill up the tank when you got there, and then you said the amount equaled the amount that you spent on the dinner, so you felt good about it.
Yeah.
Not you celebrating it right now.
He's like, yeah.
That was a good one.
I did that shit, boy. I swear to God.
Fucking dead.
I can't do it. Like,
boy, I'm that nigga for real.
This nigga's crazy. That's too funny. He said yes, I did do that shit, and he said, and I'll do it again. Like what?
And will. Yo, she's still blocked to this day, bro.
You did that and blocked her? I can't.
But I swear to God, if you mess with me, I will mess with you back 10 times. You're gonna be like, damn, I shouldn't have did that shit.
I told you, Malcolm. Like literally.
I'd be dismissive. Like when it be like a fucked up situation, I'd just be like, I just move on. That'd be like, like I'll block. You gonna leave, right? I'm quick to like I said, I'm quick to stop messaging. Like if it's not, I don't like to do a lot of, unless like if we in a relationship, sure. But like I'm not about to do a whole bunch of explaining if you do some whack ass shit. Like it's whatever. You know what I mean? And so it's.
Yeah. The thing is, Daryl will drag a situation. It's literally in a situation you just recently had too. I was like, you know what? I've evaluated this, and like honestly, you should just end it. Like it's not gonna go a good way either way. But like Daryl will drag situations.
It sounds like you and Daryl have the same flaw.
So he can keep getting. You know, it's the same flaw. It is. But it's like it's the but Daryl be trying to
you're trying to see it as a science experiment, and he's trying to see how he can reciprocate the energy.
Hell yeah!
The magic
both
energy.
a bit strange. I'm gonna be honest.
matching energy, coming with that same energy every time. Fuck all the bullshit. Like, your
Once
attitude
you
is
get
so
them like
funny to
fall
me.
apart, and you're kind of like taking notes. You're like, wow. Oh, he's actually a sociopath. Oh, that's what they do in this
Exactly.
situation. Like both were.
No. I really will be in a situation like this is a whole science experiment. I'll be like sitting in there like, oh my god, so this is what when sociopath is having like a narcissistic episode, this is what happens. Okay, like I'm seeing it happen right now. I mean, like it'd be traumatizing, but like it's great for
Research purposes.
Research purposes.
You're like, listen, the book is about to be fabulous. The book is going to be excellent.
The book is gonna be fabulous. Book dropping 2022. Fuck the bullshit. Anyway,
So
It's all for the love of science and psychology.
I really cannot. Biggest strength.
oh my god. So biggest dating strength.
So there you go.
Okay, what's my biggest dating strength? I think my biggest dating strength is that I'm honest with people. Like, and I guess in terms of like the dating world, like honesty like only can work to your advantage in all situations, you know? So like if you're honest with somebody, then it's never gonna backfire, because even if it ends in the relationship ending or whatever, that was good because you were honest, and if it ended because of that, that's good because you being yourself, and now you just found out that like you're not compatible even earlier before it even got to like further down the line, you know? Because people will like be putting on these facades and these characters and stuff like that to try to like make them seem more desirable to certain people. And it's like if I'm like this is who I am, take me or leave me, it's so much easier to weed through all the bullshit because I don't put on like any like I want to like trying to be someone I'm not, or trying to like especially like as a woman who dates men, like trying to act like this kind of like perfect feminine specimen, you know, that I think will turn him on. Like I'm just gonna be myself and be honest with you about who I am, and if like you like that, then cool, like let's fuck with each other. But if you don't, let's not. So maybe that's what I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about you, Malcolm?
I don't know. I don't really have an answer. I've been told I give good advice. Does that count as a dating strength? I feel like what I mean by that is I try to create an environment where people are making a decision, especially regarding the relationship, that's based on their own desires, where it's not as influenced by me. Like I'll be like, okay, what are you trying to accomplish? Like, what are you trying to like? Because I feel like sometimes people will try to defer to you a little bit too much. It's like, no, I want to know like where you're at, and so that's feedback that I've gotten. Like I'll be like, they'll be like, oh, well, I want to call you, but I also want to do this, and I'll be like, okay, well, what's pros and benefits, like pros and cons to whatever you're talking about, like,
oh yeah,
and then they'll be like, actually, I want to do this, and I'll be like, cool, because you know what I mean. Like I'm not really trying to influence you, and I feel like if you really love me, then we're gonna end up this corny. But I feel like you're gonna end up like we're gonna end up together, but like. If you don't, like, you're not even very much that, like, let it go, and if it comes back to you, then it means it's real.
Yeah, I feel you. It's like the advice you give, like, lets the people that you're dealing with, like be authentic, and then, like, through that, you're able to, like, cultivate genuine relationships.
That's what I go for. I don't know if I get it right, but I've gotten that feedback, so maybe I get it right sometimes.
All right, Daryl, what's your biggest dating strength?
I feel like my dating strength is really just like just being there for a person, and you know, being able to like have open conversation, open dialogue, and like just talk. And like if you want to cry, I will really cry with you. I'm not one of those people who like just like will watch you cry. I will cry with you, and I really encourage crying. A lot of people like to like, you know, just keep crying. Like a lot of people like just keep their emotions in, like try to keep from crying. But I encourage crying because like if you cry, you release so many endorphins, so many, you know, emotions that you're keeping in.
Wait, so like
you never let him just answer. What you about to say now?
My bad.
I'm just saying, like I really feel like I feel like it's just being able to relate to the person who I'm talking to.
Yeah,
I can relate, and I'm really an empath. Like, I feel like anything somebody feel, I might not understand it, but I feel it to a certain extent, and I'm able to put myself in this situation. I don't care if it's like a woman who's like pregnant. Like, if she feel like she having like menstrual cycles, I'm there too. Like, not physically, but like metaphorically speaking. Like, I always, that was like a metaphor pretty much. I don't really feel like cramps or anything, but I put myself in this situation. I'm like, how would I feel like if I was feeling that way? You know? And but like at this in the same breath, me being the empath kind of like, you know, sets me up for failure, because a lot of times I say yes to things when I'm really supposed to be saying no. Like like I'm putting what they want first in front of like what I really want, and that can really harm me, because you know I'm in situations that I really wasn't expecting to be in. But when I'm in it, I'm really just going through the motions, and you know, it might not, like the way I'm moving might not be the way that they want me to move, but the way that I'm moving is hurting them because they want X, Y, Z, but I'm not really ready to give them that. Or I'm deemed that's a bad person because I'm not giving them that. But really, me being a friend and just like, you know, just being there is not enough. They want to, like, you know, own me. They want to. That's what I see in the world. A lot of people just want to own me and just have me to themselves. When somebody had explained me, they had told me that I'm really like a phoenix. Like, I'm really just there to be experienced. I'm not there to be owned. Just feel like I really just want to be experienced. That's how I see everybody else. I experience everybody, but I'm not trying to own anybody. And how I am is how I want somebody to be with me. I don't try
This
to
won't
own me.
work out well for the next set of questions.
I feel that. Let's move on to pandemic relationships. So relationships have definitely changed in 2020 with, you know, there being social distancing and a virus that you could potentially die from, maybe you could worry about. Like, one article that we were looking at from on Mashable, they used some data from people on dating apps and figured out that people are more likely to like be honest and more upfront about what they want going into relationships, but also more likely to be looking for something serious and something like that is, you know, more of a traditional relationship rather than like something casual. And so do we feel like the pandemic has made it more likely for you to settle in a particular connection? And then do you think it's made it more likely for people in general to settle in a particular connection? So, Malcolm?
Great. So for context, I was coming out of a breakup around when the pandemic started. And I wasn't really, like, I was interested in a relationship, but I didn't want to rush into one. And so I was like, I feel like I was very cautious. Like, I kind of wanted to treat dating a bit more casually. But like, you got to really vet people, and you can't really just be hooking up with everybody. Well, I feel like it was unsafe. I'm immunocompromised. Like, I can't be out here. There was a bit of an intentionality, not in necessarily cultivating like a quote unquote relationship, but like in making sure that this is someone that I am interested in getting to at least be like friends with, you know what I mean? And not just like a fuck buddy or something like that, but like an actual friend. I have to get more comfortable with texting, because usually like I'm like quick, like I'm trying to set up either
you can FaceTime early, you know.
Yeah, no, I started doing that.
There's a couple times, like in the pandemic, where a guy would be like, "All right," like he would like be like, well, it was like, you know, around the summertime, a guy would be like, "Let's FaceTime." It would be like the third message he sent me, "Let's FaceTime." I'd be like, "All right, fine." I actually kind of liked it because it was like it's like a conversation that would take a whole 24 hours to have over text would happen in like 5 minutes, you know. So it's like so much, and like and also facial expressions, voice. You know, it's like all of it would just be there.
You get more of those cues that help you cultivate that connection. But I feel like something that I did notice is that like people definitely were more intentional about in what they wanted, and like people would be like, "Look, I'm just trying." Like, I mean, people always are like that on dating apps, but like they should be like, "I'm trying to pull up right now." Like I would say, like they would try to dig like
right now.
blah, blah. I'm trying
Let's
to
get it going. Let's get it cracking.
Like, sir, I do not know you, and we're in a pandemic.
Yeah, I don't think it's made me settle necessarily, but no, definitely not, because like I definitely got out of a bad situation, like even this year, but it was like it did make it like difficult, like towards the beginning of the pandemic. The beginning of the pandemic was like so isolating, you know, so like it would just be easy for some people. For sometimes it would be easier just to have somebody there.
There were some people who was like towards like the end of March, they were on some like looking for a pandemic buddy. Like it was like very explicit. Usually I'll be fucking around, but like I cannot. And once this is over, once we're better back to a safer place with the pandemic, this is over. Like it was explicit.
Yeah, that makes sense though. Like people who are like, you know, usually I'm a fuck boy, I'm a fuck person, but like, you know what, I just need one person right now.
First.
Safety first.
I respect it kind of.
Back to my ways.
Yeah,
I respect it too. I see.
I do too, because to be honest, like just being in quarantine and being around, you know, people just based off quarantine, I'm not gonna say it's superficial, but it's like you're doing it because convenience, and like how accessible you are to that person can really make a difference.
Daryl, do you feel like you settled into any situations because of the pandemic, or nah?
Yeah, I totally have. Yeah.
With who? Say their name.
Stop! No. Why are you being that?
Nah, I mean, I'm not gonna front. There is this one girl who I have found refuge in.
Ooh,
but not in a bad way, like because see, I'm not expecting anything from her, but I'm getting so much. I'm getting so much and then some. But I'm not trying to, you know, I'm not trying to bag that. You know, but just because I'm not trying to bag that, I'm not trying to be in a relationship with that, does not mean it's any bad blood. It does not mean no malice. You know, like, because I really feel like just because you have really good sex with somebody, like I said this before, just because you have good sex with somebody does not mean you have to be with that person.
That's true.
You do not have to be.
It's facts. It's facts. You do not.
Because exactly, you would like for them to be with you.
Wait, so do you feel like this person is like, is your relationship sex based? Do you feel like?
That's what I really feel like, it's sex based. I really do. I really feel like, oh, this person is really giving me good sex, and I want this like all the time, and it's good. And like, if they're not giving me sex, then something is wrong, and that's not the case. You don't have to think like that. And I really feel like a lot of the way that like a lot of people, I'm not just gonna say women, because men be feeling like this too, whether they're gay, bi, or heterosexual. They feel like if the sex is really good, then they have to get it. But if they're not getting it, then it's something wrong.
I mean, I feel you on that. There definitely be a lot of entitlement when it comes to like sexual relationships, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you take the entitlement away, stop feeling like you're entitled. Stop feeling like they have to give that to you because whatever reason you may think. You know, and don't get me started on this. Ashade, you know I can talk. Don't get me started on this. Like once you start overthinking, you start self-sabotaging, then you start making connections that aren't really there. You know?
I feel like I think it's important, like on that transparency piece, because I feel like people need to be in agreement in what they want. I don't think there's anything wrong with like if someone is like wanting the sexual connection to go into something else, that's fine. But like you should be transparent about that. And if the person's not feeling that, then they be like, I'm not feeling that. And it's like it's your decision. But you're going into it knowing like, okay, this person is not trying to go where I'm trying to go. And that's like where you have to make your own decision. But like I don't think it's a bad decision. Like it may hurt the other person's
Exactly.
feelings, but if you're like, this isn't what I'm seeking, I feel like everyone should feel empowered to always, like, if it's not what you're seeking, like, I don't think people are really invalid in what they're going for. But like, if you recognize that you're not going to get that from this particular connection, you should, like, you don't need to be mad at that person about it. You know what I mean? Because there's been times where it's like, and people, like, I wanted more from something, and I recognize, like, I'll be straight up like, and they'd be like, I'm not feeling it that way. And it's like, it was really no hard feelings. It's just like, okay,
Exactly.
numbers game. Gotta go to
Exactly.
this one.
It's a numbers game. Take a drink.
Malcolm.
It's a numbers game.
Exactly.
Because I feel like, I
Exactly,
do want to say,
Malcolm.
I feel like sometimes people, and I think this is where the lying and deception comes into, is like, no one is entitled. It's like, if you decide that you don't want to give the connection, because I feel like sometimes people, like, they knew that I would move on, and so they were trying to be like evasive in answering the question directly. And it's like, I feel like that's a little, like, that's not right in my opinion.
What kind of
Like,
question?
it's like I'm interested in like a relationship, and you just are wanting something sexual, which is valid, but like, I'm valid too. And so it's like, if you know that that's what you are, like, answer, like, people would be like, they would try to make it like, they would be like, you know what I mean? Like, they're trying to play.
No, like, one situation I'm thinking about that I was in, it was like,
I think I know who you're talking about.
it was
Continue.
like, it was like he didn't, it was like he didn't want to make it official with me, but he also didn't want me to go anywhere.
He didn't want to lose access to you, and I don't, no one is entitled to that access.
See, and that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big problem.
It is.
To want what somebody wants, but you don't want them to go anywhere.
Yeah,
right.
But you know, I already told y'all my problem is that, and Sade will attest to it. I'll be like, oh, this isn't feeling right. Let's move on. That's me.
Yeah, you will move on. Like, me and you have the opposite problem. Like, Malcolm will move on like mad fast, and I'm like, this isn't feeling right. I'm just gonna see what happens.
Let's see how it goes. Is it really not feeling right? Let me double check.
A couple months ago, I was talking to this guy, and I was basically like, I figured out like that we were on the same page when it came to what we wanted out of the relationship. And so I texted him one day, and I was like, you know what? I don't think we're on the same page. Like, I think we're coming from different places. Like, so I'm just gonna go ahead and bow out. You know, it wasn't even like I was mad at him. And then he like called me, and like he was like, first he was texting me like, wait, blah blah blah, and then finally he was like, let me call you, and I was like, okay, like, we can call and like talk about it. But I'm saying, like, we're gonna talk about why I'm not fucking with you no more, you know? But he gets on the phone and he's talking about, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, I still basically want you around, is basically what he said to me. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay. Like, I was like, well, I don't really know if I want to be around in that way. Of course, I feel like people that you date, like, should be like your friends. I was just like, I don't know about that. But because he said it so nicely, I was like, okay, like,
you said, well, since you said it nicely.
Not since you said it nicely.
Like, less than a week later, I was like, no, I don't really like this. And then after that, I blocked him.
That's wasted effort to me. Like, there's people that would be down with that. Go to those people.
Go to them. Are you okay, Daryl? I just want to do a check-in.
Yeah, are you okay? Do you feel sick?
Because, like,
I am yo, how could y'all tell? Hold on, chill out. Y'all could tell.
You feel sick?
Yo, I do feel like really drunk though. I'm not gonna lie, y'all.
What happened?
Okay.
You didn't even drink that much.
You said he was a lightweight. You
What?
You spoke it.
Hold on, what? You said I said I didn't drink that much?
No, don't drink no more.
Why you say somebody's mama?
But I am.
Because why is he drunk on the podcast?
It's supposed to be a tipsy and cute, not a drunk. I'm messing with you.
It's like, we didn't give you the memo. What's the percentage of alcohol? Let me see it. Tell me the percentage of alcohol.
It's 15. It's 15.
That's liquor.
I know I'm attractive. I know I am, but I feel like what people expect from me can really hurt me. bro, like a lot of times, bro, and I know I'm drunk right now, so y'all get like some really raw thoughts. Man, I don't be wanting to be I don't want to be attractive. I don't want to be like a person that everybody
Mm.
like look and just be like, yo, this nigga fine this shit. That shit really freaks me out.
Why?
Cause it'd be a lot of times that I don't think I'm fine. I
For
really
real?
all
Do
the
you be
time.
insecure about things that make you okay? This sounds kind of backwards, but do you ever be insecure about things that you think are supposed to make you fine?
Yeah, cause people
Hmm.
be telling me like, for example, people be saying, "Oh, your teeth are so pretty." A lot of times I be feeling like my teeth are ugly as fuck.
Mm.
But like a lot of time people just like growing up, like people back in like the early 2000s, people used to joke with me about like being dark skinned. Oh, you're so dark skinned. I love it. I wish my skin was like yours. Like, bro, y'all playing, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
Mm.
Yeah,
Or
no, I feel you.
a lot of times like I be like, all right, this might be too much, but like this is like among sex. Like women would tell me that like my dick is big. I don't believe that. I feel like my dick is like medium. It could be stuff like that. I feel like people look at people who are attractive and they just think they're attractive and they think that they don't have anything to worry about. But like when I say that I'm ugly, that like I'm really like just looking for attention. I'm not
Mm.
like I feel like I'm ugly just like everybody else. I feel like I have bad days just like everybody else. And I don't want people to look at me and think that like I'm just an attractive guy. I'm just like you, bro.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's all, bro. I ain't trying to get too deep, man.
It's okay. Take your time.
No, I get it.
Yeah,
Well,
for
I don't get
sure.
it personally from your perspective, but I know I can like kind of feel where you're coming from. I have this thing that is like considered like desirable for a lot of like men that I'm interested in, which is called like a big butt,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes me uncomfortable all the time. Like I literally hate having it sometimes because it's like I feel like I can't even walk. I feel like I can't even go anywhere and feel normal. Like I don't know, like
Mm.
I'll feel like there's always this unwanted attention on me. Like somebody's always looking at me different.
Is the word objectification? Is that the right use
I
of that
think
word?
I think it is the word. It's objectification, right?
Yeah, because no, I feel
Yeah.
that too, where it's like, yeah, no, like it feels very dehumanizing in a certain way. Where it's
Yeah.
like, especially like, um, people talking about BBC, like I could see every time I see that, it's an instant turn off. I want you to like me for all the different aspects of myself. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's not bad. Like we all contort ourselves a little bit in the world to, you know what I mean? Like it's natural. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can't
Yeah.
always, I shouldn't say you can't, but usually people are not always their full authentic self. So I feel like, you know what I mean? Like it's not safe to be your full authentic self all the time, but it's like, I want, like, if we're in a real like partnership, I want you to appreciate all of the, like, even the days where I'm not feeling it, because like it's not that expectation that I keep up the like prime image of who I'm supposed to be.
Prime,
It's not
yeah,
there.
the Instagram image that we were talking about at the beginning,
Yeah,
right?
because we can look like
It's
it's
Yeah.
not fake. I can look exactly like how I do on Instagram, but
that's
I don't look like that every single day.
Yeah.
exactly that's
Yeah.
interesting you said it because like even the guy that I've been dealing with like last year-ish and stuff like
Mm.
that, it was interesting because no matter like what state I was in, like that nigga always thought I was fine. And like not saying like the other guys don't think that too that I've dealt with. Like I mean, it's like guys will tell me too, like, and like other guys will tell me too and like into like Weimer's like no makeup, pajamas, glasses, whatever, and just like give
Mm-hmm.
me compliments and things like that. But it was like with him, it was like so constant. Like no matter what I was doing, like I was fine to him,
Mm-hmm.
and it made me feel so comfortable,
Yeah.
like just being myself because it was like no matter what I was doing, like I was the finest girl he ever seen in his life. You know what I mean? So it was
Yeah,
just
I know
like
exactly what
I
you
could
mean.
just I could be myself, and it's like But then also on the other hand, because it's always like always like a double-sided sword when it comes to these niggas. It was like he would call me like these nicknames based on my body, like, and I honestly don't because they're so like awkward and like weird and gross. But like he'll call me like nicknames that were like based on my body. You can probably like guess what some of them were.
Yeah, I can.
And I would just be like, I told you not. Once he started doing it so much, I would be like, please don't call me that. Like, I don't like it. And then like he'd be like, okay, and then like it would still slip out, and I'd be like, I told you not to call me that. Like, and it would be like that was like it was like okay, like I did like he did like think he was always telling me how beautiful I was and like all this stuff, and it made me feel good. Like really, it did. But at the same time, it would be like, okay, but like, do you have to call me? Like. It's like, my name is Sade, I have a name.
There's something interesting that I just want to leave here that let me be transparent, I'm not fully equipped to unpack it as it should be. But someone brought up on Twitter, I saw, like, they were talking about how, like, beauty is not capital. And kind of like the lack of control, and like all three of us have touched on this, is like the lack of control that you have on like how you are able to wield and leverage beauty for things. It's like it just changes so fast. Like, you know what I mean? Like, things change so quickly on like what it is, like what the it thing is. And it's like, it just feels, yeah. And so I just thought, I don't know, like, I'm not saying we have to agree with that statement, but I just thought that was interesting of like talking about, because people always talk, I've always heard beauty described as like this source of power, this capital that you have that gives you more access to power. And it, like, I feel like it's really interesting to think about, especially when you think about people like sex workers or people, like Daryl keeps talking about being marginalized, like people that are at the margins of society. That made me think of like, how much control do you really have over beauty? You know what I mean? And so it's like, and like who finds you desirable and how you are able to use that to your benefit, or how it harms you. Because that's the thing, is that like kind of what you're talking about, like, it could attract the wrong attention. You know what I mean? Like, it's like sometimes it puts you in jeopardy.
So one question I have with like the rise of dating apps over this past year with the pandemic and all, should white people be able to use race filters? And also people in general. There's like a big debate. Like, I pulled this article from Why Dating Apps Are Racist as Fuck, with or without ethnicity filters, from the Rolling Stone. And they're talking about how some people, like, it's like depends like on the situation. Like, one study found that like when there's no like race filter, sometimes people it's more likely someone will put in their bio like things they're looking for that can like directly call out certain people that they aren't looking for. You know what I mean? Like, no fats, no dark skins, no like all these things that they don't want, whatever, you know? And it's like, so like, should white people be able to use them? Like, is it better for everybody to be able to use them? Like, if even if somebody is racist, like, maybe you just want the racist to be out of your pool anyway. So you just want them to, just put, like, if you want to put the white filter, just put the white filter. Like, please, you know? Like, just don't even come across me. Because if I see that shit, it might poke in my brain, like, oh, am I ugly? Like, not me. But I'm just saying, am I having somebody else? But
for the rest of you,
it could never be me, for the record.
Wouldn't let that shit happen to me, though. Oh, my God.
I mean, like, yeah, I feel like they should have an option. But to be honest, I don't even think white people should be on dating apps. I don't want to see them. To be honest.
You know what? Love the answer.
Okay, so I feel like that's a good argument for pro race filters. It's like, I just like they're all white people. Like, even if I think you're kind of cute, like, or I think you're like whatever, you may look good, but I'm just gonna swipe. I don't want to, because I'm not looking for like just like casual sex, you know. So it's like, if I'm the thing is, I can find casual sex at the grocery store if I want to. Like, casual sex will fall in my lap at any moment. I will never be on dating app looking for that. Never. You know what I mean? Like, that's just beneath me.
You know, if racism wasn't a thing, it might be different, but it very much is. White supremacy is very much a thing. Yeah. So it's just like, why would I want to subject myself? I'm already queer. Why would I want to subject myself to having to deal with your homophobic and racist family? Why would I do that? That doesn't make sense to me personally.
we talked about pandemic dating, dating apps, all that stuff. Let's talk about sexuality and like within the context of the pandemic too. So one question, Malcolm, you want to talk about was like being vanilla and quote unquote vanilla shaming. Like so when it comes to sexuality, right? Because well, shout out Shan Booty because that's a sexologist, and both of us have interacted with her content a lot online, and she actually had this. She actually like corrected herself recently when she was talking about how she's on a her husband's podcast, and she was like surprised that like one of his friends said that one thing that he would never do was butt stuff because like they were asking what would you never do, and then he's like I would never do butt stuff, and she and she was like really like why like but then like then some people called her out and they're like, yo, like, even though like, of course you're a sexologist, so you're open to a lot of different things. Like, you still keep in mind that other people like, some things like they have like preferences and all the stuff that they want to do. And so, you should keep in mind that like, you shouldn't like shame people or like give up an air, like being like disgusted with people's preferences just because they aren't like as like quote unquote free and like open as you perceive them to be, so basically, I guess what we want to ask on our podcast is like, how do you establish boundaries with partners for exploration? And like when it comes to being like being vanilla versus like more kinky, like how do you like sort of like how do you like find out those things about yourself? And then how do you establish the parameters for like exploring the things about yourself in relationships? You know what I mean?
Yeah, fine. I'll go first.
Yes.
I feel like I'm dead. Y'all got happy about it. They said that relief. I saw the relief in everyone's face. I feel like when it comes to sexual exploration, fuck, why did I go first? I feel like it gets problematic for me personally because like I could be I don't like using the word because the word has such a connotation to it. But like I could be very go with the flow is what I'm gonna say. Submissive is the proper term. I could be that way sometimes. And it's like someone will just be like, let's do this. And it's like I'll be like, okay, you know what I mean? Like I'm just like kind of like always like sure. And it's like I feel like there may be things that I'm uncomfortable with. There may be like I feel like my journey is like learning, and why does this story with Shambui like resonated with me is kind of learning that it's okay to say no, because I feel like there was some trauma stuff in there where it's like I wanted to please and I felt all of these things that we're not going to unpack in this episode, but I felt many complicated feelings with like in relation to my sexuality. I feel like realizing that like there's not a proper way to do it, that you're not boring for trying things out and wanting to see what actually satisfy you and not being so concerned with like being the perfect sexual partner. I feel like I've exposed myself throughout this episode, but I feel like I had to unpack kind of like my desire to be what people wanted me to be. And it's like, and feeling like that's the only thing that made me worthy. And so I feel like that's why it's like, I feel like that, and like being sexual, it needs to I feel like it's really important with like finding out your kinks, which I think is a beautiful thing and all that type of stuff. Like, I feel like it needs to be self-driven. You know what I mean? Like some people, like being submissive is a kink for them, but I feel like it shouldn't be like a trauma. Like you find that out, you quote unquote find that out through trauma. Like, I don't think that's right. Like, I feel like you need to like completely disentangle what is motivating kind of the things that you want to see happen. You know what I mean? And so I feel like it was definitely a process for me because I feel like for sure there's a lot of weight for you to be like this hyper, like people talk about like the what is it called, the whore versus the Madonna or whatever the complex is. It's crazy because it happens to everyone kind of, where it's like you are supposed to be like this hypersexual, especially as a black man, you're supposed to be this hypersexual, like perfectly like always ready to go, always, you know what I mean? Like you're just supposed to be everything to everyone sexually. Like that's always expected. Exactly. And it's like giving yourself the space to be able to be like, I feel weird, or I don't really like this position. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like I had to kind of learn for many, many
Exactly.
different reasons. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
No, I
crazy you
totally.
say that because that's how I be feeling a lot. Like a lot of times, like I might feel like a certain way, but I always keep it to myself because I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, if I tell people this is how I feel, they gonna think it's weird because I'm a straight black guy. Like I'm supposed to like be accepting advances and like all these people are like looking at me
Supposed to
sexually,
be.
but it
Mm-hmm.
can be detrimental.
No, yeah, I totally feel you too. It's like, I mean, being a woman is a whole another ball game too, because it's like you're supposed
Yeah.
to like you're. It's not even supposed to. You're supposed to like want it. You're supposed to do it regardless. You know what I
That's a
mean?
fucking mess.
Exactly. And it's like
That's
I
fucked
really
up.
had guys say to me like, "Oh, like basically." I mean, not even verbatim, but like paraphrasing, like basically like, "Oh, like if you don't want to do it, you should just get yourself in the mood." You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, well, shit.
What?
I'm like, excuse me, then. Like you don't want to trust certain people with like certain kinds of like intimate sexual acts that require like trust,
Yeah.
intimacy, and like emotional maturity and understanding, like things like that. Like a lot of these things that like even like say something like bondage, like
Mm.
there's personality traits and like intelligence levels I don't know that you need to have to be able to execute that in a like a loving, caring way, you know, that doesn't end up being like completely and totally traumatizing. You have to be careful about who you trust with certain parts of yourself. You know what I mean? So it becomes
Mm-hmm.
so it's
Yeah.
like establishing I feel like establishing boundaries, like I feel like the way that I do it is basically like being upfront about like what I'm okay with. It's like it's not that I'm not freaky enough, but it's like I don't trust you enough.
That's
Like
real. That's real.
honestly, yeah, exactly. So it's like sometimes the
Yeah.
boundaries are like depending on the person. It's like certain things I'm not gonna do with you because it's like
I don't know you like that.
I don't know you like that. Yeah, exactly. And then that was just the question that me and Malcolm like always debate about like relationship sex versus casual sex, and like me and Malcolm, interested in what you would say, Daryl, but me and Malcolm always feel like we prefer relationship sex, and it's funny because there's this podcast that has come to my attention. It came to my attention through controversy actually, but
Oh
I ended up
Lord.
listened to a couple episodes and I actually thought it was pretty cool. It's called Call Her Daddy. And have you heard of it?
Oh, I have not.
So it's like these two white girls who got really
I don't
big
like it. No, I'm joking. Okay, continue.
Not too white girl.
doing this podcast called Call Her Daddy, but they would just talk openly about sexual experiences, like being young women, like, you know, being free in New York City and doing what they want. Basically like Sex in the City, but like podcast form and real life and like more raw and all that stuff in like 2020 and all that, you know? And she was talking about like, damn, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh, right.
Relationship sex. Yeah.
She had this guy on the air. I forgot his name now, but like she had this special guest who also has like a couple million followers on Instagram, like as a personality from Australia. And this guy said he has like boyfriend dick, and he's like, the reason I say boyfriend dick is because it's not too big, it's not too small.
I hate that
Like
term.
I hate it too because I want to be too big. Like, stop playing. But anyways,
Right.
Advice queen.
The real thing about like, women they don't really care about the big doinks. That's what it's called, the big doinks. They don't care about them. Like they rather just look to advertise ones.
I can't let you shut
You
it.
know,
like they'd be like, oh, like, you know, the size doesn't matter. It do. Like, it do. Like,
It depends on the person.
it don't.
Hey, you being
I
problematic.
heard that it depends on like what they know what they're doing with it.
I don't know what to tell you.
A lot of people like to talk about the size of the dude dick. Let's talk about the size of the woman's vaginal canal. But those can be big too.
I can't. I can't. I wasn't ready for that. I didn't know that
You have a
was where
big
we were
pussy.
going. Yeah, no. As long as you're doing what you need to do, and your
Yeah.
partner is satisfied, then you good to go.
Sexual
But you know,
deal breakers.
oh, is that the next question?
A sexual deal breaker for me, other than like her feeling like I have to give it to her, is her squirting too much. Cause like, bro, I just wash my sheets in my bed. Like,
I
I don't
can't.
want to do this again.
Ma'am, what is your sexual deal breaker?
Mine
Hmm.
is if you don't give head.
I feel that. I feel that. I feel that spiritually.
Yeah.
That too. Just like Megan Thee Stallion said, she said mandatory. I get the head for
No guarantees on
no
the
someone.
penetration. I be texting with
Exactly.
a bi chick. We
Yeah.
both freaky just trying shit. Men they getting super thirsty.
Hey.
Even though the other fellas, I need a Mr.
Hey.
You better know the
But
fucking song. What?
Oh, Malcolm, yo, what's your?
did you say one?
No, I didn't. Total tops and total bottoms.
Oh, true.
I
Yeah, you
told you.
need
I
it.
feel like I told you this. It's kind of related to yours.
You
Like
didn't tell
people
me,
that.
but I can imply it. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, no, I don't like that.
So Daryl,
Yo,
you know, you told me in the year of our good Lord 2020 that you decided that you were going to try to participate in this thing called No Nut November. Correct? Yes. And it's crazy because we are in a panoramic, first of all. So that has limited close contact. The tumultuous events of 2020, like the BLM movement, Black Lives Matter, the death of many popular idols, health concerns, like all these things have been going on this year. It's crazy. It's like in a year where people are like, you know what? Like if I can connect with somebody, I am going to. What would compel you to be like, you know what? I'm gonna do No Nut November. And also, masturbation makes you feel good too. So why would you do that? That's what I want to know.
I did not see this in the
you said
question.
why would I do not November? Why? What about it would make me feel good?
Yes. Like, what's the purpose of it?
Like no, not November. It's like it's some people are. What's this thing called? Like semen retention. Like instead of putting your energy to bust a nut,
Just internalize it and you deal with it like as you go. Because that's why I'm saying like you don't always just because somebody wants to have sex with you and they find you attractive don't mean you have to, give your energy to them. You can always, put that energy towards something else, but whether it be like, creative energy, like you could like do something artistic or,
Yeah.
exercise. You don't always like just because you're sexually frustrated don't mean you have to like express that sexually.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to do the what do we think about the idea that polyamory is an ascended consciousness way of living? This idea I feel like that's been in the media, like that polyamory, dating more than one person at a time, is sort of like a way of living that's more natural to humans. It doesn't involve so much constraints on our sexuality. It's more easy for us to maintain for long periods of time. And like if people would like embrace that more and break away from the construct of monogamy, we would be happier and like we would be living like in the ascended consciousness and like just have better quality of lives overall. So how does everybody feel about that idea? Like, especially with in 2020.
I feel like it's cool because, I mean, granted, like being in a dating world, like if you're talking to like one person, not you really do feel like that. People are temporary. People come and they go. You're gonna realize that whether somebody is monogamous or poly or not. Like you really gonna figure that out if you only talking to one person, because you're either gonna like get tired of dealing with them or like they're gonna get tired of you. It's either one or the other. But at the same time, I also do feel like trying to find like just that one person is really exhausting. And just like something that you had said, like in the beginning of the podcast, like, you know, I had said that you adapt pretty much. That's pretty much all you're doing, you know. But at the same time, everybody is entitled to, you know, what they want for themselves.
Like when you're growing up, even like, you know, as a young kid, even you start hearing, even as a 5-year-old and like older, you start hearing messaging about like how love is supposed to be and like what it's supposed to be like when you're in love. And I think hearing that counter messaging has been helpful. I have not met a guy with enough emotional intelligence to be able to be honest with me in a way that I feel like I know exactly where his heart is at. It hasn't happened. I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought it's probably a good question to end on. Yeah.
I enjoyed this for real. Like, y'all are so great. Like, I love y'all podcast.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. When it's cut down, you're gonna be amazed. You're gonna be like, all the shit we were saying is gonna be gone.
Right, because
gone, all of it, gone.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Daryl, for coming on. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, Daryl.
You're so welcome.
Great to have you.
You're welcome, Malcolm and Sade. Thank y'all for inviting me. For real, I appreciate y'all so much.
Of course, we're just gonna do the Yeah, well, let me just go ahead and say that I hope that everyone got something out of the episode. Like, even though it was a slightly tipsy mess, you know, 3 other people talking about with different walks of life, talking about sexual experiences has to be valuable and educational in some way, I figure. So let's do the Absolutely Ghetto Org of the Week. Afrosexuality is a movement founded by 2 Black women, Rafaela and the first generation Liberian American Dali Chaya. I hope I'm saying your names right. I'm so sorry if you guys hear this. Rafaela and Dali Chaya. I hope I'm saying your names right. So basically, Afrosexuality is a sexuality positive movement that acknowledges that sexuality is an important aspect of our personalities and lives. And it acknowledges that sexual messages are everywhere, some positive, some negative, and rarely do people have and or take the opportunity to discuss what we're all observing and absorbing in the sexual and relationship world. And so their vision is that reclaiming agency over our bodies will transfer to other aspects of our lives and incite us to reclaim political, economic, and social agency. In the white supremacist system in place in the U.S. throughout the diaspora were designed to alienate, control, and destroy Black bodies. Reclaiming Black bodies and sexuality is in direct opposition to the system and is an act of resistance. So Afrosexuality is sort of meant to just embrace sexuality in the Black community and like I said at the beginning, practice that radical self-love through like embracing those sides of yourself that they would want you to suppress because you're so worried about racism, oppression, marginalization, as Daryl likes to say. And people will be like, oh, like I'm going through all this already. How do I even have time to think about sex and love? Like all of it is so like trivial compared to all the bullshit that I have to deal with. Right. But part of like embracing sexuality and being sexually free is and also rejecting white supremacy is like embracing all those aspects about yourself as well, because you know, like they want you to like worry about marginalization and oppression so much that you can't even worry about pleasure anymore, you know? So I felt this would be a good organization to like sort of shine a light on. So you can find them at afrosexology.com. That is AFRO sexology.com. And their Twitter and Instagram will be in the show notes as well.
Thanks again to our guest, Daryl. And this has been a really fun conversation. We really do hope you guys get something from it. And so with that, we are going to finally wrap up. Stay ghetto, everyone.
We out. Stay ghetto.
All right, bye, y'all.
Bye, Daryl. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much, too.